Okay, this video is going to walk you through customizing the settings for our students, which will allow you to embed the correct standards and really track the growth and progress of students. And so, what you're going to do once you're logged into GoFormative, up at the top right, you click on your account picture, and we're going to go to settings. And under settings, and you can see all three of them under settings. What you can do here is the first thing you want to do is your standards, and you want to add a standard set. If you watched in the previous videos when I was adding questions, you can tag standards to questions. And that's really where the growth comes in for the students, or your ability to track the students with standards based learning on how they're doing when they're completing questions, and are they continually getting questions wrong of a certain standard set. So you really want to spend the time to add your standards to the questions that you are creating. So you can add as many standard sets as you would like, and I've got a couple more that I wanted to put in here, so I was just going to put one in. So you would just go to add to standard set, and you're going to choose your state or organization. So you're going to scroll down to get to M for Minnesota. When we get to Minnesota, here it is. Then what we can do is we can look at what are the standards that we want. So I'm going to add seventh grade math standards because some of my technology classes have seventh grade math standards. If you'd like to, you could review and see these are the standards that they're looking at and what the standards are. So I can go back and confirm and exit, and then it adds that standard set to my list of standards. The other thing that we can do in here is I can set custom colors for what my score thresholds are. So if you notice when I did the scoring of the students and I was dragging the slider bar, if they get a 75% or more, they're green, 50 to 74 by default is yellow, then red. And so you can create your own thresholds, your own coloring, and those really help you to identify where students are at with their questions and answers by color coding. So that'll help you to quickly identify gaps in learning or students that are needing some more depth and connection to get deeper understanding of stuff. And then you also have your default point value. When you create a question, is every question worth 1 point? Do I want every question to start off with 5 points? Do I want every question to start off with 2 points? So depending on how you set up what your grades are for the formatives or how you're going to do that, you can very quickly set up and say, okay, I want all my questions to be 2 points. So every question is a 2 pointer. Um, after these are some other assign options. So after a submission, it just keeps it visible so that, but no, students are not allowed to edit it. You can allow students to edit it after submission. That gives them an opportunity to go back and correct mistakes. Maybe they took something and did it, or you can hide it and say once you've submitted it, it leaves and goes out of their formative, so they won't be able to see it anymore. Um, when you go to return scores, what you can do is I can say after a student submits it, it turns to scores. Instantly return to scores. When they get the question wrong, it'll instantly tell them that they got it wrong or got it correct. Don't show the scores, or return the scores after everything's done when it's closed. I like to keep mine and do it more when it's closed. And what that does for me is that eliminates maybe one class is one student's taken, or maybe I have another student that's absent or something like that. Give me a chance to go through and look at that. Once I close it and the scores get released back, then everybody's taken it and had an opportunity to do it. Where you could run into, especially if you're doing instantly, if you have students that are working together, one student takes it, knows he gets it wrong, he could have his peer get the correct answer based off of how you're responding back. So you always want to think about that stuff. And then display questions in random order. If you have this on here, with all that does is that just makes it and sets it up so that when the questions go out, that every student is taking essentially is this taking the same formative, but they could get their questions in a different order. And so we're going to go ahead and save those changes. But I just want to go back again and kind of reiterate just the importance of setting your standards. So again, if I go back into my formative, so the other one I can go into though is my account info. This will show all my information, what my teacher position is, the schools or departments that I'm tied to, subjects that I teach. The subjects really, you can add more subjects. Really, where the important comes in is your the standards that you're going to set. And so I'm going to go back into this test standard here. And like I said, so this one is we're talking about our media bias here. We scroll down and look here. So, superhero is not an Avenger. Um, this is not appropriate for the standard, but we're just going to just to show you for sake of time, I could just do under here the tag to standards. And if I forgot to add a standard set, I could actually add a standard set. And so we could find out what their, what it is that these, what standard is this going to go to. And so we're just going to tag a standard in there just so you get it. So you can have multiple standards that go in there. So I could add another standard if I wanted to. So if this goes for an additional standard, I could add a second one in here. I click in the box again and I can continue to add standards, right? So if I have two or three standards, I can tag a math standard, a language arts standard, a science standard. So it really can kind of help us hone in on how students are doing with their standards based learning. And so that will really give you the gist of how to do that. I'm going to take those out because it is not tied to those standards. But that is a great way for you to adjust your settings to make sure that you're getting the most out of your formatives.